to some sort of suggestion as to what made you pick your careers and your majors. I know you have a financial major, and you have math and science, and you have legal. You chose law as your career. We have a lot of South Asians who come up with a background where they have to select certain careers that are very professional. We have women from all walks of life, starting from having no careers in schools, and then all the way moving up to having their companies. So if one is looking for an academic pathway, what is the best way to go around to seek financial help as well as guidance for schools? So I guess that's my question. Thank you.
Who wants to take a shot at that?
I'm happy to go first. Well, my advice would be, I think you guys are very lucky given the time and place we are in today. My own experience when I was growing up in school was there were very traditional paths to choose, whether it was math and science or what we call in India commerce and arts for women. But today the world is open to you, right? The only advice I give my own kids is I don't care what they choose as their major academically, but they have to strive to be one of the best in that field, because then there's no stopping you. You can be the best rock star if you so choose to be, but that's what you strive, is excellence, which again comes with hard work, I think, and the sky's the limit. So I'm not one for any traditional career path or academic choice either. I really think you should follow your heart and your head and strive to be the best.
Yeah, I think it's really kind of it's important to identify what you have an interest in and what you like, because you're going to have a lot of forces around you that are going to try and influence you to go in certain directions that may not appeal to you. And if you start off on that path, then there's a course correction that you're going to have to take that isn't going to be very easy. So, you know, the real issue is try, and it's hard when you're young because you have so many different interests and could go in so many different directions. But really try and identify the things that you like to do and really apply yourself. And I do believe that, you know, setting your value system and understanding that hard work is the absolute key to success and perseverance. You're going to experience some lows and some highs, but typically, I mean, I haven't met a successful person in life who isn't a hard worker, you know, who just doesn't work very hard. And so that's one value that I think you can take with you and combine it with pursuing something that you like, and know that your career is not set right now. I mean, your life is going to take so many twists and turns that can take you in different directions, and that's okay.
Yeah, I would just say to assess and adjust, because you have up here an example of 3 people that didn't end up where they thought, or never thought about where they were going to end, or didn't end up where they ever thought they were going to end up. I don't know the right way to say that. None of us were at your age thinking we were going to be sitting here. So, but again, just keep trying different things. It'll be a process of elimination over many years.
Okay. My question is more for, I think, Karen and Mithili, that over the course of, because you have older children, that, you know, if you evaluate strengths and weaknesses they change over a lifetime, and you have a skill set, and then, so I just wanted to hear some personal examples of some point in life where you realized that your values or your strengths have shifted because of children, and primarily around, you know, motherhood and that entire new, you know, world that opens up to you.
Well, I can share just a couple personal things. I think, again, sometimes you have to make trade-offs, and I guess just make sure you're being really clear about the trade-offs that you're making. I think it's really, someone once told me that it's much easier when the kids are in elementary school, so that's the time to kind of do your career push. And I actually found that true in my instance, because they were there from kindergarten, you know, through 6th grade, and it was really easy from that standpoint. But there was also a point where, you know, my husband and I had to do some renegotiation because you really need somebody that can focus on the family. I mean, it's really hard to do. And so I think one of the things that's really helped me is having a spouse that's been incredibly supportive, and we've had at different points in times had to sit down and negotiate who was in charge of laundry and who was doing the cooking, and and he adjusted his schedule around some things. So it has to be a give and take too. It's hard to do. It's hard to do alone.
Yes, absolutely. I think trade-offs are something you juggle, especially as the kids get older. And I completely agree with Karen. I thought it was hard when they were young, and little did I know it's so much harder as they get older, because you actually play, I think definitely it's been true in my case, you play a much more hands-on role, being both a role model or a mentor, whatever you will in your children's life as they get older. So for me, the biggest trade-off that I did, as I mentioned, I think constantly during my time here, I was passionate about dance. I performed constantly, but it would take up a lot of time. So I gave up dance, I gave up performance, which was a big thing for me to adjust to because it was a huge part of my life. But I made the call that I'm going to live vicariously through my kids. So of course I forced them into dance. But I stepped back from that so I could adjust my time between work and kids. So that's the trade-off I chose to make. I'm very, very happy now that I made that, because it's made things fall in place for me. So I'm not madly traveling on weekends to perform somewhere. So
the other thing to think about is that there are professions out there that allow you flexibility with your time. Mm-hmm. And so if you find that you're evaluating how you want to structure your career with kids, I would strongly encourage you to take a look at different careers which do allow you to have that flexibility. Because with my job, the time is very flexible for the most part. So if my kids need to go to the doctor, I take off and I take them to the doctor. It's not a problem. Or if there are any other events that I need to shift my schedule for, I can. So that has proven to be a very, very big deal for a lot of women in the workforce. And there are many women in my company that have kids and appreciate the fact that they have the flexible schedule that they do. So that's just another thing I would bring up in terms of what to evaluate.
I think we'll take one last question for the lunch break.
My name is Yasmin, and I've been working for the corporate, America for a while. Worked at Intel, Visa, big companies. As a manager, but also personally, what I felt was a lot of the skills that you acquire while working, you can apply to like community work as well. And I feel, I don't know whether you touched, I came a little late, and I feel that there is, when we talk about success, that's also one aspect that, more people could contribute to. And not only that, you could, contribute to causes like whatever, children being killed in Gaza, for example, or even local communities, in, say, Oakland. And I just wanted, some comments from you about that aspect of success and how, because you have certain, recognition, how you could utilize that aspect into, community work. We have, President Obama, who actually has a lot of community background that he always talks about being part of his success.
Yeah, I serve on the board of the Children's Discovery Museum, and again, it all is aligned with learning, part of the leadership development, but even learning at individual stages. So you need to find something that you're passionate about. But I think there's a lot of transferable skills, and I think this is one of those things where sometimes doing the community service, don't discount that as things that wouldn't be applicable in a job application going forward. Again, I think if you spend time thinking